I wanted to give you guys, I wanted to give you a template or a format that you can use to write a bio for yourself. Now, a bio is really important. In fact, in that career acceleration plan that I shared with you guys earlier, you're going to see there's a 10-step bio writing checklist in there. And I got a new one from one of our club members. You guys probably know or have heard of Jim Pruitt. He's very active in the private Facebook group. Gary featured him recently with Hillary Gaynor and Jim Pruitt, where they were talking about the strategies that they were using to sell $3 million of real estate every month. And so when I was talking to Jim, and I know from my previous experience with Jim that he's all about creating a really, really strong bio page or an about me page on your website. Okay. And so I asked him, I was like, well, can you give me an example that I could share with everybody of what a good one looks like? Mm-hmm. And he was like, sure. And I'm going to show it to you in just a second. And then he gave me the 10 steps, right? So he gave me the 10 steps. I'm going to review these 10 steps, but I'm actually going to pull up an example of a real website that Jim worked on and what this looks like, so you can see how this actually manifests itself. Because I can just give you these 10 tips, but unfortunately, you won't know how to execute it without a good working example. So the first step is you're going to write a title, but you're actually going to make this the last step and do that last. You're going to start with a client problem or desire, interest that they have. You're going to expand on that client pain. You're going to show how you, as the agent, can help. You're going to include the first 3 steps of how to get started. You're going to add a personal story. You're going to add 4 to 5 qualification and experience items. Be sure to have some good call to actions in your bio page. And then you're going to show any certification logos or certification education that you've got, and then include 3 reviews. I really encourage you to build out a strong bio page for your website, because this thing can be copied, modified, and pasted and put into all your other places that you show up, right? So this can show up on your LinkedIn profile. This can show up on all your social media profiles, but a more abbreviated version of it. But when you have a really solid and good one, then it's easy for you to take it from snippets, and it really can shape, for me, for example, my YouTube channel, it's got some bio information in there. Well, if I start with a really solid one for a website, you can copy and modify it and paste it. So we're going to take a look at, this is actually one of our marketing club members, Gretchen Merrick. And so Gretchen works with Jim, and he helped her put this page together. And so you can see, and I tried to highlight, so the title of the page is A Home to Fit. Now remember, we were going to do that last though. But he starts with let me just get my little drawing thingy here. And I'm going to do a little highlighting here. Boom. Okay. So, sorry, I was getting lost with this thing. Okay, so he's going to start with the client, problem, and desire. So right here, he gets into, all right, you need a home that fits. You have noticed lately your home is not quite right for you anymore. It may be too big or too small, or you want to move to a new neighborhood, right? So that's starting with the client problem. And then he expands on the pain right here. But wait. First, you got to sell your current home. And the question is, how long will it take? And how much is it worth? And how do I pick a new neighborhood, right? So all of that, what that's doing is it's identifying that problem or that initial desire or interest, and then expanding on that. And that's marketing 101 or copywriting 101 is you start with the client, you start with the reader first, and you put what they care about, what they're thinking about, what a challenge or issue that they have, because people start to self-select. And so he's putting that right on the top of the page here. While I'm here, I'm going to point out he's got call to action here with a contact me form. And then as we move down here, he explains this is how you as the real estate professional can help. And so the answer here just in the copy says easy. Gretchen is your South Santa Clara County neighborhood specialist. First, she makes selling your current home a smooth experience, serving the South Santa Clara County area for more than 18 years. She knows the area and she knows what it takes to make a home sell. She works with a team of marketing experts, including staging, photography, property websites, Facebook, social media, to make sure you get the best price for your current house. So what that's doing is that's just showing the individual who's looking at this, oh, that's how this works. That's what she's going to do. Then, like in that format, it said share the first 3 steps to get started. So there's the first few steps of this is what you're going to do. Pick the right neighborhood, choose a home choose the home, and then get into the financing, inspection, and changes. Then we get into the personal story. I'm not going to read the personal story, but I just know that the personal story is in there, so that what that personal story does is it starts to draw that connection. Because yes, people want to know that you're competent, but they also, like, people want to hire, especially when it comes to real estate, somebody that they actually like. Right? Like, they don't want to hire a jerk. They want to hire somebody that they know can get the job done, and they're going to enjoy spending as much time as we are together, either buying or selling that home. And so they're going to want to hire somebody that not only believe to be competent, that they enjoy being around. So that's why it's so important to draw that personal story, that personal connection. Notice we didn't lead with it. We don't lead with, here, this is all about me. No, we lead with, it's all about you and what you're trying to accomplish. It's only after we answer those questions effectively that we move into, here's who I am. And then move on from backing that personal story up to talking about what are the actual qualifications. Why should you hire me? So it gets into, why should you hire Gretchen as your realtor? He's got 4 to 5 qualifications here. One of them being lots of experience, another one being knowledge of the real estate transaction and skilled negotiation. And so including those in there, what that does, now they've got that personal connection that's being drawn, but also they've got specific, remember we talked about the reputation, and what was it? According to Merriam-Webster, it's the characteristics or the abilities that are going to be associated with us or our good name. So in this case, what we're doing is we're showing and we're telling them what characteristics and abilities that they should associate with us. In Gretchen's case, it's as a skilled negotiator. It's as having knowledge of the real estate transaction, having lots of experience. So she's taking these points and making it what they should know about her and what makes working with Gretchen unique, right? Another one here is true enjoyment of helping people. So all of a sudden, and that's what's cool about an online identity or an online reputation, is rather than hoping somebody's going to say the right thing, it's actually right there for the person to read. Mm-hmm. And you've shaped what that message is going to be. And that's what a proactive approach is all about.
Yeah. And I think it's important to note that this is a long bio. Mm-hmm. This is not the same bio that's going to be on like every...
No, but you start with the longest one so you can trim it up.
Right. And it's worth making it long and detailed like this, because the person who reads this, who takes the time to read this, that's a person who's serious about trying to figure out if you're a good fit for them. Yeah. Right?
You raise a good question. People will oftentimes ask me, or they'll ask us, or I'll see it in the private Facebook group, how long should something be? Mm-hmm. How long should the copy be in an advertisement? How long should a video be? How long should this web page be? How long should a landing page be? I'm oftentimes being asked how long something should be, because what we think is that it should be short, that it should be abbreviated, get to the point, and they either want it or they don't. But the truth of the matter is that's not how we operate, right? That's not how we actually operate about something that we have an interest in. Now, let me ask you guys, how many of you first off, how many of you guys have Netflix? All right. I'm assuming all of you have Netflix. All right. How many of you have ever binge watched a series? I'm talking about watching 3, 4, 5 episodes all in one sitting. Heck, maybe you watched 3 or 4 or 5 seasons in one sitting. Raise your hand. How many of you guys have done that or are guilty of doing that? And so most of us have done something like that. Maybe it wasn't a series on Netflix. Maybe it was a podcast that you listened to, and the podcast is an hour, 2 hours long. Or a movie. How many of you gone to a movie and and it didn't matter how long that movie was? Like for me, Endgame. Like it was a 3-hour movie, and you were perfectly content sitting there for that 3-hour movie. I mean, there's many. For the things that we have an interest in, we absolutely want that long form of information, because there's no way to satisfy our curiosity or the interest that we have with the short form. So what we're trying to do here is, remember, the person reading this is not the person who's just scanning and is not interested in buying or selling a home. The person who's reading this is like seriously on the cusp of working with you, and they're looking to make sure that you're the right fit. And you don't want to stop short and they're like, maybe I should check out this other person because I seem to know a lot more about this other person than I do about you, when you almost had him. You almost had him. And so that's why I am a very big proponent of long form. However, I understand that there are certain mediums in which you must use short form to be able to get to the long form. What would be an example of that? Social media, right? So Facebook, if you're going to do a Facebook video, yes, you can do a 2, 3, 4, 5 minute video, but you got to get to the point in the first 15 seconds. And a percentage of people will watch the longer form. In YouTube, you got a little bit longer of a time frame to work with. But heck, with a YouTube video, you could literally speak, have one for an hour, 2 hours, as long as, you could give a home buying seminar on YouTube, right? And it could be 2-3 hours long. And the person who's interested is one and who watches, 60, 70, 80, 100% of that, that's who you're really catering to, not the person who just watched the first 5 minutes. And so here's the thing. You're not interested in hiring Gretchen. So you're not going to read this unless you're specifically trying to figure out what she's doing and how Jim has crafted her page to do this. But outside of that, you're not hiring her, so it's not something that you are inherently interested in, and that's okay. Sorry, Gretchen. But most people, because they're not going to hire Gretchen, that's not what they're looking. They're going to look at this. This is a lot of stuff I got to read. But conversely, let's say you're going to go hire a doctor and you found information about them online and you were going to hire them for, a big procedure. You'd probably want to make sure you wouldn't be satisfied with the amount of information that you would come across. So with that, I think that's about all. Oh, there's the certification logos right here. And then 3 reviews. Sorry, I
told you to turn those off.
I turned it off on my phone, but I didn't turn it off here. So the 3 reviews are right there. And then let's see. There's the other 2 reviews. And so that's that bio page.